This is CBC Winnipeg News.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. The remains of a mother of two who went missing almost 3 years ago have been found. But Leah Keeper's family say they feel left in the dark about how she died and how police found her. The CBC's Caitlin Gowerluck has more.
Through the heat of summer to snow and rain, Leah Keeper's family kept searching for her. The mother of two disappeared in 2023. On Wednesday, her family said the search for Keeper had ended after police told them her remains had been found.
Silently closure, yes. And no more wondering. And now we could move forward with arrangements for Leah.
But her family still has questions.
I want answers. What happened within those 3 years? What happened?
Winnipeg police said they found Keeper's partial remains in a back lane on Selkirk Avenue in November. They later confirmed her identity through DNA. Police say the homicide unit is investigating her death. First Nations leaders say the pain of losing Keeper, whose family is from Sagkeeng First Nation, has been felt widely.
We acknowledge how heavy this is for everybody. When one person hurts in our community, we all hurt.
We've been going on with this for too long now in Sagkeeng. Too many women going missing, being dead, found dead, and this one is another example of how we need to be better supported.
Keeper's family says she struggled with addictions later in her life, but they're remembering her as a friendly, bubbly person who loved her two daughters.
She could come into a room and she'd have this squeaky little laugh, Auntie, that kind of thing,
Corshane said Keeper's family hopes to bring her remains home to Sagkeeng and have a vigil for her in Winnipeg this weekend. Caitlin Gowerluck, CBC News, Winnipeg.
Parents in Rivers, just north of Brandon, say a 14-year-old accused of planning a school attack has threatened their kids in the past. At least 3 told CBC News similar stories of the accused youth threatening their children at knife point. And as the CBC's Chelsea Kemp reports, some say it shows a need for more mental health supports in rural communities.
In a quiet rural Manitoba town, families say their feeling of safety was rocked last month after RCMP say they prevented a school attack. A 14-year-old arrested. RCMP allege he'd been planning to attack the community school of just under 150 students. But some parents say there were warning signs the youth was struggling before his arrest.
I didn't have any sense of safety and there was no justice, so I was stuck.
CBC spoke with 3 parents. We've agreed to protect their identities out of concern for their family's safety. They all had similar stories. The teen threatened their child with a knife. And 2 parents allege RCMP became involved months before his arrest.
And now all I can think about are the what ifs and what if he hadn't been caught.
RCMP say they can't comment or confirm if the accused teen had past interactions with police because the case involves a youth. And his name can't be published under the Youth Criminal Justice Act.
A lot of us took him under our wing, and to know how close we were to danger is mind-boggling.
It all started when police in Bridgewater, Nova Scotia were alerted by Interpol and the FBI. A 15-year-old in that town and a 14-year-old in Rivers were chatting online, planning attacks on their schools. On March 16th, RCMP officers pulled over a school bus and arrested the Rivers teen, who they say was unarmed at the time. The allegations have not been proven in court.
Other charges may come in the near future, depending on what the investigation leads us to.
Rivers Collegiate student Riley Frost says it's scary and a reminder for parents to check in on their kids. Frost says it shows rural communities need more mental health support.
Parents need to speak to their kids, and I think there also should be supports for all kids and whatnot.
For now, the community just wants answers, including if and when the youth will return. He's scheduled to appear in court in late April. Chelsea Kemp, CBC News, Rivers.
A Northern Manitoba First Nation says it needs help dealing with a mental health crisis. 3 people have died by suicide in the last 2 weeks at Nitchissawayasik Cree Nation. 2 additional deaths have been reported since the fall. Nitchissawayasik Cree Nation's chief says there is also a number of other attempts, and RCMP have responded to hundreds of mental health calls in the community west of Thompson. Suicidal ideations expressed in about 80% of those calls, according to the chief. The community is declaring a state of emergency, saying mobile crisis response teams need to be deployed to the community. For anyone struggling with thoughts of suicide, help is available. You can call or text the suicide crisis line. The number is on your screen there, 988, 24 hours per day. Manitoba's health minister says paid plasma clinics could still make safety improvements, even though the regulator says it didn't find a link between the donation process and the deaths. 2 people died after giving plasma at Grifols clinics in Winnipeg. Health Canada says it has finished assessing those deaths and didn't find a link to plasma donation.
We accept the findings from Health Canada's investigation and report. We take them very seriously, and we recognize that there are some concerns actually outlined in that report that must be addressed. Health Canada has an obligation to address those concerns with this company. We believe as a government that there's more we can do at the provincial level.
Health Minister Zoma Asseguera says this includes working with the College of Physicians and Surgeons of Manitoba to see if they can take any other measures. The regulator did slap new terms and conditions on Grifols' license to operate. Asseguera says they did share the regulator's concerns about staff training standards. Well, it was a very winter-like wake-up for people living across southern and central Manitoba this morning. An Alberta clipper brought heavy snow, road closures, and has left many in our province cleaning up. The CBC's Alana Cole reports.
Cleaning up a winter blast. Not exactly the spring weather Rene Dufault wanted to see when he woke up.
I cycle a lot, so, looking forward to, I'm not a winter cyclist, so I do look forward to dry pavement and warm weather so I can get the bike out.
Outside the city, the spring snow led to school closures in about a dozen divisions. Some highways had to close too.
This drive took Lisa Teal almost twice as long to get home. An icy drive on Highway 9 after a night shift.
Whiteout conditions, probably really couldn't see the oncoming vehicles at all until they were probably about 12 feet away, unable to see where the ditch is.
Back in Winnipeg, Bruce McBeth is focusing on the positives.
Here we go again. And it was, but I went out this morning to get the newspaper and found out it's nice and warm. There's no wind. Yeah, there's lots of snow, but it's Winnipeg.
Still, he's like many others right now, waiting for the snow to melt so they can get on with spring. Alana Cole, CBC News, Winnipeg.
All right, let's bring in CBC meteorologist Colette Kennedy now. And Colette, certainly a lot of variation in how much snow fell across the southern parts of the province.
Yeah, thanks, Riley. We had that range of snowfall totals depending on the temperatures. Like if we look at those from earlier in the day where we had the readings that came up overnight above freezing, that kind of put a hold on the accumulations of Winnipeg, about 5 centimeters, but just a little bit to the northeast. Pinawa getting closer to 10 centimeters there, and Portage la Prairie, well, 5 to 10 centimeters, depending where in the region. Brandon a little lower there with the mixing and just a centimeter there, but take it up towards the Swan Valley, and we're talking about readings with accumulations of snow around 15 centimeters. And I realize we're not all done with this. We still have a little bit more to work its way through, so I'll talk about what further numbers we might have coming up in just a little bit. But first of all, let's just get to your forecast. Light snow tapering off. -3 tonight. Those winds still a little bit strong at times. By tomorrow morning, -6. But feeling like -12, we should have kind of a sun cloud mix with more clouds building into the afternoon. And with a southwesterly flow, that should help us get above freezing, up to 2 degrees for tomorrow. More details to come, Riley.
Sounds good. Thank you so much, Colette. RCMP says snow and slush appear to be factors in a collision this morning that killed a teenager near Carman. The crash happened on Highway 3 just after 6:30 this morning. Officers say an eastbound truck being driven by a 17-year-old boy slid and collided with a westbound truck. The 17-year-old died in the collision. The 40-year-old man driving the other truck was taken to hospital in Winnipeg in stable condition. Still ahead, healthcare workers are in demand right across Manitoba, but some say it is still hard to find work in the profession. More on that story and more local news coming up after the break. Stay with us. The Manitoba Institute of Trades and Technology is set to close, but virtually all of its programs will be saved thanks to Red River College Polytech. The CBC's Ian Fraze joins us from the newsroom now. Ian, there was fear that some MITT courses would close along with the school, but what do we know about that now?
It appears that fear has turned to relief. 19 college programs from early childhood education to welding and carpentry will continue with the same number of students. The only program that won't, the Network and Systems Administrative program that was in Morden. But the courses in Winnipeg will remain. Now, the future of these programs have been in limbo since January, when it was announced MITT would close because of a massive drop in international students. Since then, RRC Polytech was charged with taking over any of the college's programs that it wants.
We believe in our academic program review that the 19 programs and the seats attached to those programs that currently exist in Manitoba are necessary to support Manitoba's labor market. And so we are continuing to maintain and preserve the capacity of those programs. And we believe that there's both an international and domestic market to be able to support all of those seats.
New students will be welcomed into these programs for the fall. RRC still needs to decide what will happen with MITT's staff, but those involved in running the classes are expected to remain.
On a different story, Ian, fallout from the Speaker's ruling yesterday that PC leader Abi Khan made a dehumanizing remark about the health minister continued. What happened?
Yeah, the NDP had a bunch of attacks at the ready the day after the Speaker's ruling. He had ruled that Khan dehumanized Health Minister Uzoma Asseguera a few weeks ago by saying, quote, "You are a terrible person, whatever you are," something Khan has denied saying. On Wednesday, the NDP responded, calling Khan a liar, saying he couldn't be trusted. But Khan was nowhere to hear it. He skipped question period, his party saying he had meetings instead. Premier Wabkanu made light of someone else standing up first in question period rather than Khan.
My heart really goes out to the critic. Why is it that she is the one who has to pick up the pieces after the shameful display that we saw from the leader of the PCs yesterday?
Khan says what was shameful is that Khan didn't fully apologize for his remark. Riley.
Thank you, Ian. The CBC's Ian Fraze in our newsroom. The Manitoba government says dozens of healthcare workers were hired today at a recruitment forum in Winnipeg. The event was aimed at connecting nurses and healthcare aides directly with employers who need them. But as the CBC's Cameron McLean reports, some people trying to enter the system say it is still difficult to find work.
Since we graduated, it's been a bit difficult to get a job.
Ekeoma Uguoma is one of more than 200 people who signed up for this healthcare recruitment forum, hoping to land a job. The province brought nurses and healthcare aides face-to-face with employers from across Manitoba with on-the-spot interviews and job offers. For Uguoma, an internationally educated nurse who recently finished training and a hospital placement, finding work hasn't been easy.
My manager would say, "Oh, send your resume," but there are no positions. So basically it's going to be like casual, or that if they see anything in that aspect, then it could be easier for you to get into it.
Casey Quatoriano moved here from the Philippines and is in a bridging program at Red River to get her license in Manitoba. She says the provincial government has been a big help.
I've received a really massive support from them. So even settling here in Manitoba, here in Winnipeg, it's been a great experience.
The NDP government has made hiring more nurses and healthcare aides a key priority. Government figures obtained by CBC News show nearly 1,700 nurses were hired in the last 13 months. But the province lost more than half that many to retirement, resignations, or switching to private agencies. But for Vida Iris Addo, working for private nursing agencies hasn't provided enough stability.
The agencies, they don't have benefits. And if you work and they don't have enough hours.
Health Minister Uzoma Asseguera calls the event a success and says it's part of a broader push to get more workers into the system faster.
By 2 p.m. today, over 60 Manitobans had a signed job offer in their hands.
The Manitoba Nurses Union says recruitment efforts alone won't solve the problem. In a statement, MNU President Darlene Jackson said better nurse-to-patient ratios and addressing unsafe job conditions will do more to keep nurses working, and that will help with recruitment. Cameron McLean, CBC News, Winnipeg.
Parks Canada says it will allow motorized boats this season to return to Clear Lake and Riding Mountain National Park. The agency says there will be a mandatory tagging program along with additional management measures. They will include an expanded no-wake zone and 2 weekly non-motorized days. Boats were banned in the park in an effort to prevent the spread of zebra mussels. The province says there's a high risk of flooding in parts of the Interlake this spring. Water levels could rise on the Fisher River to levels similar to those seen during a flood that devastated Peguis First Nation in 2014. The province says it's due to several factors, including an above-normal snowpack and spring precipitation. Fisher River was the only river that presented a major to moderate risk of flooding in the province's latest outlook. All right, let's get back to meteorologist Colette Kennedy on a day where we saw a bit of everything, some very windy conditions in the Swan Valley, and even a bit of sunshine here in the Red River Valley this afternoon.
Thanks, Riley. Well, yeah, our temperature is still doing a little bit of a roller coaster ride, completely typical and normal for early spring, but it also has an impact on those snow totals I was talking about a little bit earlier in the show, and some of the melt occurring, and hard to keep it around when the temperature's been around freezing, and Brandon, you know, seeing very little bit of snowfall there, but even a little further north, getting some melting as those temperatures come up. However, of course, things swinging around with the northwesterly winds coming in behind our system, and with that, that'll cool those temperatures back down. You can see still some of that wraparound, a little bit of mixing here just south of the city, and some light dusting that's coming down. So in terms of additional snowfall totals, there won't be much to it, but I'll show you here in just a moment what I'm thinking. And this is that trough coming back on the back side of this with a ridge of high pressure building in behind. So we may not have a ton of full sunshine tomorrow, certainly in Winnipeg, but I think we'll have a mix of sun and cloud with just some more clouds kind of coming in into the later afternoon hours. Then we've got a weaker trough that's going to be sneaking in, and that's as we go through tomorrow night into Friday, and that's just bringing a centimeter or two or so through northern Manitoba and then across the Inner Lakes region. So not too much to write home about there, but there will be in terms of sunshine on Friday for the southern tier of the province. So additional snowfall accumulations, yeah, we're talking about a trace or negligible to maybe a centimeter or two on top of what we've already experienced through the region. Now, overnight tonight, that temperature dipping to near -6. By 8 a.m. we'll be at -5, but still holding a wind chill near -12, so still a chillier start. More clouds beginning to come in, -2 towards the midday. And then as we get into the later afternoon, I'm still thinking we're going to get a little bit above freezing as the winds are going to kind of change direction, that southwesterly flow putting us at about 2 degrees for the daytime high. But take heart, as things improve as we move through Friday, 5 degrees, and then we get up there, at least for the weekend, before the next dip comes around.
The weather update is brought to you by Paul Davis Property Restoration Experts. When things go wrong, we do what's right.
Let's look at some of that snow that fell this morning. On the bright side, this is good snow for snowballs. We have more ahead right after this. Another member of Parliament has crossed the floor to join the federal Liberal Party. Marilyn Gladu left the Conservative caucus, claiming her decision will benefit constituents in her riding in southwestern Ontario. Prime Minister Mark Carney sang her praises in his welcome.
Very much looking forward to working with Marilyn. She brings tremendous experience as an engineer, a very long international business career, dedicated to the people of Sarnia. She's spent her whole career there, and of course a lot of experience as a politician.
Gladu has represented a Sarnia area riding since 2015. She is the 5th opposition MP to join the Liberal caucus since November. The federal Liberals are now just 1 seat shy of a majority government. 3 by-elections are set to be held on Monday, 2 in Toronto area ridings and 1 in Quebec. Overseas tonight, the U.S. and Iran may have agreed to a ceasefire, but less than 1 day after that agreement was struck, there are conflicting reports over the actual terms of the deal, and no sign the hostilities are over. The CBC's Cameron McIntosh reports.
A ceasefire in name, but so far not in practice. The Strait of Hormuz remains closed to global oil traffic as Israel continues to strike Iranian-backed Hezbollah militants in Lebanon. While in the U.S.,
the world has just witnessed a historically swift and successful military triumph.
The Trump administration says the president's threats to wipe out a civilization has brought Iran to the bargaining table.
I think it was a very, very strong threat from the President of the United States that led the Iranian regime to cave to their knees.
In Iran, word of a ceasefire brought celebration after Pakistan brokered a last-minute deal, the U.S. agreeing to stop attacking, with Iran agreeing to open the strait to oil traffic for 2 weeks. But Wednesday, Iran was still firing missiles. It said it was on alert for attack amid conflicting reports over terms for peace, including whether Iran will retain its stockpile of enriched uranium, a non-starter for the U.S.
They will either give it to us, which the president has laid out. They'll give it to us voluntarily. We'll get it. We'll take it out.
This analyst is not optimistic.
I'd be surprised if it lasts 4 days.
Really?
The differences are so far apart. I could be wrong, but I'd be surprised.
Meanwhile, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says Israel still has objectives to complete, insisting the ceasefire does not apply to Lebanon. The U.S. agrees. Iran calls that a deal breaker, leaving all of this in doubt. Still, there's optimism in the markets. Oil prices dropped in anticipation of the strait reopening. Britain's Prime Minister urging a lasting peace.
It's our job to make sure that the strait is open, that we're able to get the energy that the world needs out.
For now, at least, the U.S. and Iran are to begin talks this weekend in Islamabad. Both sides already claiming victory under a ceasefire that is far from certain. Cameron McIntosh, CBC News, Winnipeg.
Now, as Cam mentioned, Iran is insisting both fronts in the war were part of the ceasefire agreement, while the U.S. and Israel are denying that. In fact, since that ceasefire deal was brokered, Israeli forces have intensified their attacks on Lebanon, killing at least 112 people. Crystal Gamansing has that part of the story.
A sweeping and deadly wave of Israeli airstrikes rocked Lebanon. Within 10 minutes, multiple areas were hit simultaneously, targeting more than 100 sites linked to Hezbollah, according to Israel Defense Forces. At one point in the afternoon, the Lebanese Red Cross said 100 ambulances were deployed to strike sites. On the ground in Beirut, the Bekaa Valley, and in coastal southern cities, including Tyre and Sidon, large-scale search and rescue operations were launched. Lebanon's health ministry said hospitals were overflowing with hundreds of victims. That included those killed and wounded in the strikes. Israeli officials say the ceasefire in Iran does not cover military operations in Lebanon. That contradicts what Pakistan's prime minister, who brokered the deal, says. Israel's defense minister addressed the large-scale aerial operation in a video released by Israel Katz's office. In it, he said it was kept as a separate front in order to change the reality in Lebanon, removing the threat posed by Hezbollah to northern communities, saying the IDF will continue to operate vigorously against Hezbollah. Lebanon was dragged into another conflict with Israel after Hezbollah fired on Israel last month in retaliation for the war in Iran. In a statement, Lebanon's Prime Minister Joseph Aoun called for continued efforts to ensure lasting and stable peace. A negotiated peace, he said, that should include Lebanon. Crystal Gamansing, CBC News, London.
We've seen the war in the Middle East drive up the cost of fuel in Canada, and that could also soon impact the price of food. Experts are warning that even with a ceasefire, consumers should brace for higher prices at the grocery store. Nisha Patel has more on what to expect.
Everything's going up 50 cents to $1 a pound.
The fuel crisis from the Middle East war is driving food prices higher, starting with imported produce and some meat and dairy.
The fresh stuff is where you're going to see the immediate impact.
At Winnipeg grocery store food fair owner Munther Zaid says shippers and suppliers are adding fuel surcharges, forcing him to pass those costs on.
This, a couple of weeks ago, we had it on for 75 cents for a 2-pound bag of onions. We just got a shipment in. We had to raise it to $1.
It's becoming more expensive for trucking companies to transport goods, with the price of diesel jumping 40% since the war began. That's rippling through the food supply chain to grocers.
We're now at the point where we can't hold off any longer, and what consumers are seeing at the fuel pump is what the grocers are seeing at their back doors.
And shoppers in rural and remote communities will feel the squeeze even more.
We should anticipate that there's going to be an increase in food inflation in the months ahead. You just have to be transparent and honest about that. There's just no magic bullet that can erase that from happening.
Though experts say with Canada's growing season around the corner, buying local seasonal produce could provide a buffer for grocery budgets.
As we get into the spring, our fresh fruits and vegetables aren't coming from as far away, and so the freight impact will not be as profound.
After years of soaring food bills, shoppers are preparing for yet another financial hit.
I am a little more cautious of what I'm buying.
I'm going to double down on my meal planning and prepping, so just making sure that I'm using everything I buy.
It could take months for energy markets to stabilize. Until then, consumers and the economy will pay the price. Nisha Patel, CBC News, Toronto.
Air Canada is testing out a new and hopefully faster way to deal with unhappy customers. Faced with a huge backlog of compensation claims to go through, the airline has tapped a third-party arbitrator to help. Philippe de Montagny has more on what this might mean for that complaint you filed.
For customers seeking compensation for things like delays or cancellations, the wait with the Canadian Transportation Agency can be lengthy, currently up to 3 years.
It's painstaking because, I don't know, I think they probably get rejected outright as a matter of course, and then, you know, it's a waiting game.
To speed up the process, Air Canada is testing out a new arbitration process using an independent third party. For about 500 customers, the arbitrator will have up to 90 days to rule on each case. The results would be non-binding for the passengers.
Whatever decision emanates from the arbitration, we will be bound by it, Air Canada, but they will not be bound by it. If they wish to pursue their claim before the CTA after the arbitral decision, they can do that.
Despite the CTA hiring more workers, the airline's watchdog has a backlog of roughly 96,000 complaints.
It's a pretty expedited way of getting a resolution for the passenger.
I personally have never had a problem, but if I did, I would not be happy about having to wait 2 or 3 years. So good for Air Canada then.
The airline hired the Canadian Aviation Dispute Resolution. Its parent company, the CDRL Group, is based out of the UK and operates across Europe. Experts are concerned about Air Canada's choice.
We need some sort of independent oversight, hopefully government oversight, to make sure
that if the carriers are paying for this, that they're not winning all of the cases. That would be one huge red flag.
Air Canada plans to share the results of its pilot project with the federal government this summer, and then it'll be up to Ottawa to decide whether or not it wants to set up and fund its own arbitration system. Philippe Demoncy, CBC News, Mississauga.
Greece has announced it will join Australia in banning children from accessing social media. The Greek Prime Minister said today the ban will take effect on January 1st of next year. It will block access to social media platforms for children under 15 years old. Australia's ban applies to kids under 16. A poll earlier this year in Greece suggested 80% of respondents supported a social media ban. This comes after the Greek government already blocked cell phone use in schools. The UK, Spain, Austria, and Slovenia are considering similar bans. Experts cite rising anxiety levels and addiction in children, along with sleep problems. The woman known as the ketamine queen has been sentenced to 15 years in prison. Jasveen Sangha has pleaded guilty to selling the drugs that killed actor Matthew Perry back in 2023. Her lawyer calls today's sentencing unfair.
I'm bitterly disappointed. If you weren't in the courtroom, the argument is there's no way that Jasveen is 5 times more culpable than the person who injected Matthew Perry with the drug or the doctor who got the drug. To me, it's absurd in the literal meaning of the word.
Sangha had been in federal custody since her arrest in August of 2024. Matthew Perry was mostly known for his role as Chandler Bing on the hit sitcom Friends. Coming up, just days remain in the Artemis II mission, but the 4 astronauts on board the Orion spacecraft are still busy at work. We'll bring you more on the mission when we come back. Well, this is day 8 of the Artemis II mission. The 4 astronauts spent much of the day testing the Orion spacecraft's thruster system and in-flight radiation protection. As Karen Pauls reports, it follows yet another historic day in space.
Earth setting behind the moon. Craters never before seen by human eyes. A rare solar eclipse. Stunning images sent back from Artemis II.
Now those great pictures are coming down, and wow, I mean, they are incredible.
Fragile and interconnected, we copy.
After a busy lunar flyby day, the astronauts got some downtime, but still made more history.
Integrity, this is the International Space Station. How do you hear?
The first ship-to-ship communications between a spacecraft and the International Space Station.
So we have a view of you right now, and it is making us so excited.
There were some technical questions, but also more banal ones.
We want to know, what are you eating? So I had spicy green beans for lunch. I had a mango salad this morning.
The communication, an important test for future spaceflight endeavors.
When you're on the highway and there's the little rest spot that you can pull over and, charge your phone or get a drink or go to the bathroom, we're going to need that in space too.
The astronauts also debriefed scientists about their observations on the far side of the moon.
I was able to see into the crater wall on the east side, and the shadowing there was actually neat, so I could see layers of shadow.
Orion has now left the lunar sphere of influence, which means Earth's gravity is stronger than the moon's, turning attention to re-entry.
We still have to ensure that Reed, Victor, Christina, and Jeremy return home safely on Friday evening, so we're pretty focused on that.
NASA says the weather is favorable for re-entry at this point, but they are monitoring for rain, which can interfere with communications and visibility and pose a safety risk. Karen Pauls, CBC News, Winnipeg.
Now, as seems to be the case with everything these days, fake images and videos are circulating about the Artemis mission. Avneet Dhillon with CBC's Fact Check team shows us how to spot the AI-generated content.
This is not a real video of astronauts on the Artemis II mission. It's AI generated, but it's been shared online by users who are questioning whether the mission is real. The fake video shows the camera panning away from the 4 astronauts to a view of the Earth, leading to questions about who was filming. Real videos and photos of the mission are posted by NASA, like this one which shows astronauts waving at a stationary camera. This open source intelligence analyst showed how the fake video appears to be AI spliced using a screenshot of the real video and another photo posted by NASA. There's also some obvious signs of alteration in the fake video, like astronaut Reed Weissman's right hand and astronaut Jeremy Hansen's right hand both morphing, and not in a way that would be explained by video quality. Other fake images have also been shared, like this one claiming to show the astronauts filming with a camera crew on a stage. We ran it through Image Whisperer, an AI image detector. It found the photo was likely created using an AI tool. Although AI detection tools like this are not foolproof, there's other obvious signs the image was AI generated. The photo appears to have used a screen grab from this real video, but you can see obvious discrepancies, like astronaut Christina Cook's face and astronaut Victor Glover's left hand. And this image showing the astronauts in front of a green screen is also fake. It shows obvious signs of being altered. Reed Weissman's right arm is missing, and there are no wires holding up Christina Cook. Real photos and videos can be found at images.nasa.gov, and NASA also has a live stream of the mission on its YouTube channel. If you're seeing other images or videos you'd like us to verify, send us an email at ask@cbc.ca.
The weather update is brought to you by Paul Davis Property Restoration Experts. When things go wrong, we do what's right.
Colette is back with our full Manitoba weather forecast. And after the last 24 hours, Colette, I think a lot of people are wondering when we might finally get some warmer air.
Thanks, Riley. You know, looking at the big picture, all the more consistent weather, at least for now, along the west coast, with not only some nice temperatures, but BC enjoying sunshine until about the weekend, and then the pattern changes. And of course, we've got the colder air that's been in place. Not extreme, but certainly some colder air. The yellow level snowfall warning still holding in some areas, although this has been breaking down and being reduced by Environment Canada as we move forward in time, and the system is winding and pushing across and taking its influence into northern Ontario a little further. On the backside, still some of that light snow or flurry activity, really just amounting to maybe a dusting or a centimeter or two, and even less than that, where you see some of that mixing occurring, where we're still getting either wet flakes or it's changing over to those rain showers due to the temperatures. Now, rolling forward through time, there's the breather as we move into tomorrow. And so although we may have kind of a mix of sun and cloud, I think there'll at least be some sun in there through the Red River Valley. Then a trough that's going to be coming, crossing the border from Saskatchewan into northern parts of the province as we're moving through Thursday and into Friday. And with it, some light snow maybe blowing around a little bit, but nothing too serious or significant there. Look at those temperatures with the clear skies. So a cool one tomorrow morning, and then moving through the afternoon, here comes that trough. So that's going to change things up a little bit in terms of your sky conditions. And further south, yeah, we're not only talking about the temperatures cooling down, but also the winds being significant enough to really drop some of those wind chills into the -10 to -15 range, at least early in the day. And then as we get going with that forecast into the afternoon, getting most of those temperatures coming at least just above freezing. So a bit of a warm up. Speaking of a warm-up, this is Daisy, and she's looking for hers. She's looking longingly. Look closely here, because here's Daisy, and then you can see her reflection in the glass. Great picture, Gail. She's looking longingly for spring or warmer spring weather, Gail tells us, and in terms of what she could expect for tomorrow, there's that chilly start, so I did put just a yellow paw, just kind of keep an eye on things there, but otherwise we're going to have a decent day and decent conditions for your dog walking and all those activities that you might have in mind, Riley.
Thanks, Colette. When it comes to progress and development in Winnipeg, do we have our feet stuck in the mud? Are we afraid of change or possibly slow to embrace big ideas? CBC Manitoba's urban living contributor Ben Farr digs into that topic.
For decades, this corner divided Winnipeg. One camp fought hard to have Portage and Main opened to pedestrians, while others fought to keep it shut, fearing the worst: traffic, accidents, and injuries. After 25 years of conversation, contests, consultations, a plebiscite, and even the city changing its mind, Portage and Main finally opened up. No mayhem, no car crashes, just a plain old intersection. So why all the fuss? This is a symptom of a problem that's been affecting Winnipeg for over a century: resistance to change. Why is that? I want to find out so we can create a better city for the future. I've lived in and traveled to multiple cities around the world, and I've always wondered how some of the big ideas from other cities could work back home, here in Winnipeg. But anytime new ideas are suggested, it can often feel like an uphill battle. And this is nothing new. Take, for example, Assiniboine Park, a beloved meeting place in Winnipeg. Back in 1904, the city had a vision to create an urban oasis during a long period of population growth in Winnipeg. But even though it's hard to imagine now, Assiniboine Park faced strong opposition at that time. Or take, for example, the floodway, which was pitched shortly after the 1950 flood. It took 6 long years of ignoring, debating, and disagreeing before it finally got approved, earning the nicknames Roblin's Folly and Duff's Ditch because of its so-called unnecessary expense. But since the floodway was built, it's prevented tens of billions of dollars in flood damages. This resistance is baked into the city's DNA and still continues to affect us to this day. Rapid transit was first pitched to the city 50 years ago as a new, flexible, and cost-effective transportation method. But it took decades of indecision and delays before the first rapid transit line fully opened, just over 5 years ago. Meanwhile, Ottawa took an alternative approach, taking action and opening their first bus rapid transit line in 1983. Since then, Ottawa's rapid transit has become so popular that they're currently upgrading to light rail transit to handle that demand. Winnipeg's resistance is costly, both financially and to progress towards a better city. So why is Winnipeg so resistant to change?
It turns out there's a psychological factor behind this resistance, a fear of the unknown.
As we live in our cities day to day, we get accustomed to the challenges that we face.
Whether it's traffic, slow transit, or even the potential of major floods.
Big ideas create uncertainty and disrupt our routines, so we're more comfortable with accepting the challenges we currently face rather than embracing the uncertainty and the change. With that in mind, how can we become more open-minded and embrace the change?
Well, to start, the challenges that we expect from these major changes rarely end up as bad as imagined. In fact, the benefits often outweigh those downsides by a lot. Had we given in to the resistance, we might not have Assiniboine Park or the floodway. And had we acted faster, rapid transit might have already been established decades ago.
So next time you hear a big idea being floated, remember that change and healthy growth is a good thing.
And that without it, Winnipeg could have missed out on some of our proudest achievements.
All right, you know we love baby animals on this show, so we have a hump day treat for you next. At least one Winnipeg hockey team has made the playoffs, and no, it's not the Winnipeg Jets, at least not yet.
Here's Fogimo looking to the left side. He's got a man open. They score! Cale Clegg, 42 seconds into the second period.
Cale Clegg scoring the game-winning goal in the second period, leading the Manitoba Moose to a 4-3 win over the Milwaukee Admirals last night. That win was the one to officially send the Moose to the postseason. This is the fourth time in the past 5 seasons the Moose have reached the playoffs. They missed out last season. The Moose have 3 remaining home games in the regular season, with their last on Sunday before a 3-game road trip.
Okay, let's get down to the nitty-gritty in terms of these temperatures and what's going to be happening and the fluctuations that we get over the next few days. It will be a gentle climb as we're heading towards the weekend, so that's nice to see. Near 10 degrees, a little above, a little below by the time we get into the weekend. But for tomorrow, it is 2 degrees, sun cloud giving way to some extra cloud later in the day. And then we have 5 degrees, mostly sunny. There could be some morning cloud on Friday, but then mostly sunny conditions. A cool start on each day. But then Saturday, it's up to 11. Yeah, chance of showers coming back in on Sunday. And there the temperatures down and then up again as we head into next week. But keeping in mind, this is all how spring likes to play out as winter and summer are negotiating here.
Thanks, Colette. Well, today is Hump Day. Maybe you needed that reminder after the Easter weekend. Yes, it's Wednesday. Here's an idea for how to mark Hump Day, as is occasionally the case with our daily lift. Yes, it involves watching baby animals. Well, how about a double-humped camel calf for our daily lift tonight? Okay, so this cutie is Sophia, and she's barely 3 weeks old after being welcomed into the world on March the 21st. She is one of 8 domesticated Bactrian camels at a zoo in England, with Sophia joining her sister Sally, who was born in 2024, and 10-month-old half-brother Ivor in the wild. The species remains critically endangered, with its population estimated to be less than 1,000. Sophia's wild relatives can be found in the deserts of China and Mongolia. What a cutie. That is our program for this Wednesday. Thank you so much for being with us. I will see you again tomorrow. Good night.